Can you create 3D character and play it in Unreal Engine only with AI? In this video, we're going to show you how to create game-ready character with AI. We're going to generate, optimize, texture, and rig 3D character and his prop.
Then seamlessly import it into Unreal Engine. Set up blueprints completely with AI. And finally, you'll be able to play with your own character in less than an hour.
And as the first step, of course, let's get started with the reference images. I recently generated something like this and I found it really cool. It is inspired with Fortnite-style and I really like it. Of course, with Nana Banana, I created references like this. We do have front view, back view, and I also have side views, but one side view is actually enough. And of course, with Nana Banana, I extracted the gun itself since we're gonna need it to play the game. And Gorka will show us how to make that actually shooting with AI. To create 3D models, I'm gonna use Tripo AI, which recently made a lot of updates that makes it really easier to create characters in one go. UI is very simple. You can either create it from one image or a few images, which I'm gonna use now. We're gonna use front view, left view, and the back view. For settings, I'm gonna need ultra mode, of course, since again I want to create him in one go. Texture, of course, 4K, and I also want PBR. Alternatively, you can also use smart low poly, but that will disable the ultra mode and you might need to create it in parts. Check out my other video how to do that. And we're gonna press generate. Of course, there are another alternatives, and I know many people like Hunyuan, for example, and me too. While preparing to the video, I did some tests and generated few models in view of AI, and Hunyuan is good, but it was failing in one specific part, which is very important. So here is the result in Tripo that I got, and here is the result I got in Hunyuan, and you can see this is version 3.1, and I also used multi-view. The problem I'm talking about is hands. Yes, I don't know why, but it tends to create fingers as one piece, which will be a problem for animation later. And also in terms of style and texturing, I really like Tripo more right now. I don't know what they did to faces, but faces look way better. And I also created the gun, and PBR looking way better. Look, this part is more metallic, this part less metallic, but still metallic. I mean, I like it. Really, I like it. This one is actually perfect. We're gonna download both models as GLB. Let's check with Gorka how to start preparing your Unreal Engine project.
Wow, Stefan, it's already looking insane and we just got started. So, while he creates the character completely with AI, I will begin creating the Unreal Engine project and setting up the blueprints and the character movement also with AI. So I'm gonna create a new blank template of blueprints and I'm gonna just name this something as character AI. And then let's jump in. Okay, so this is a brand new Unreal Engine project, and right over here I have an insane plugin that allows me to create blueprints, widgets, behavior trees, and UIs inside the editor, which is insane. So I'm gonna be using the API of Claude Code because I have access to this model called Opus 4.5, and this is literally by far the best coding AI model in the whole world. So with that said, I'm gonna go right here and say create a third person character with movement and camera control. Use the new enhanced input system. I wanna make sure that I use the new input system from Unreal Engine. And now with that said, we can just click on send and the AI will begin to work and it will start to create all of the necessary plugins that we need. And so there we go, the AI went ahead and created a third-person character with movement and camera control using the enhanced input system as we told it on the prompt. And here it basically, explains all the assets that it created, but let's take it, and just open it up in Unreal Engine. So we have blueprints where we have the third-person character, and then we have input where we have the different types of inputs. So we have, for example, for, moving with WASD, looking with the mouse, and jumping with a spacebar, exactly like we needed. Then we obviously have the third person character that, if we take a look, it actually created all these blueprints by itself, which is amazing. And now in the viewport, we obviously don't have any, 3D model because we're waiting until the one of Stefan, but let's go ahead and just, add a simple prototype mesh just for now. And I'm gonna literally just add a cube, okay? He's that simple. So drag this in and make sure that we're gonna be placing this. And now when we press play, as you can see, I can move around and everything is gonna ahead and working. Obviously, we don't have any character, so that's why it's not really, looking good. I mean, there we go. It's actually working, right?
Alright, we're gonna need to optimize the model and do some texture fixes like this ear, some imperfection on the jacket. And of course, if you watch my channel, the best way to do that is Modddif. So we're gonna go to Modddif and create new project. Let's make it private and import both of our files. Here we go. Now, don't worry if you see it like this. This is because by default, it shows flat color. You can always switch back to PBR and you'll see it pretty much same as in Tripo. Now we're gonna go back to flat since we will work with the color texture. But before, let's do this. Let's select the object and go to simplify and choose 20K for the gun, since we're gonna use it in game and it must be optimized. For character, however, I'm gonna choose custom and choose 16K. That should be good for Unreal Engine. And do not uncheck generate normal map, since that will give you more details. So now we're gonna hide our original objects. Here we go. Now let's start texture editing. We're gonna select character and go to the texture mode. Now the process is very simple. You can either texture whole object, disabling base texture, adding your reference and press generate. That will create whole texture. However, I'm pretty happy with the base texture and I want to go on top of it. I'm gonna enable this one, create new layer and choose this brush to actually select the region I'm not happy with. Here in particular, I want to fix ears and I'm gonna set view like this. And I want to fix face a little bit to make it better. Okay, I don't want to make a lot of changes since I'm pretty much happy with it. When you selected the in painting region, simply make sure that the reference you want is selected and press generate image. Alright, image is created and now we're gonna choose in paint and just start painting on top. As simple as this, we just fixed the texture. I'm a little bit not happy with the ears, but that comes from my original reference. So I'm gonna press these 3 dots and press create variation and type close up shot to add. And here we go, we don't even need to go to Nano Banana. Let's press add as new reference image. Go back, select this one and generate image again. Now I'm happy with the ears and let's paint on top. And here we go. I mean, I just fixed it in no time and it's way more accurate. You can go all across the model and fix everything. For example, I really want to upgrade this space jacket. Let's do basically the same. I'm gonna do that for whole jacket and you enjoy the time lapse. And just like that, we painted the whole space jacket. How cool is that? Okay, I'm gonna fix few more parts. After that, I'm gonna export both objects as GLB and drop them in Blender for the next step. And let's hop back to Gorka.
Okay, so now that we have a basic, character movement with some camera control going on, let's also set up the actual weapon, okay? The gun that we will be able to shoot. So for this, let's literally just go and go into the agent chat and just type what we need. Edit the character blueprint so that he is able to shoot with a gun. Use projectiles so we can see them. And that's it. Let's send this. And basically now the AI will edit our character so that he is able to shoot with a gun. That obviously, again, we will replace it later on with the actual AI model that Stefan will do. But let's, just continue setting up the functionality so that everything is ready. And guys, if you haven't realized, until now, I haven't touched any single blueprint. I haven't added any single line of code, any single node. Like, as you can see, there we go. The AI just created a new blueprint called BP Projectile. It's insane. I'm not doing anything. And as you can see, the AI actually added the shooting functionality to the character. And here's what it implemented. It created a new asset and a new input action. So we can, left click or whatever that is. And then we have a collision sphere, an actual projectile mesh, and also the movement and the hit. And then finally, of course, for the actual character, well, we actually have the shooting mechanic. So let's go ahead and press play. And there we go. It's working. Obviously, it is super basic, and there's many things to improve. But what I want to say is that just wait until we add the actual real character and real gun into our Unreal Engine project. Just wait, okay, until the next part, you'll see.
And the final step on my side will be rigging. I basically just drag and drop the GLB to here and import it. Here's our cat and the gun. If you press tab, you'll be able to see the mesh, and you can see it's optimized exactly as we asked. 20,000 triangles and 50 for the cat. Now to rig it, we're gonna need to export it in OBJ and bring it to the Mixamo. So I'm gonna select this object, the file, export, choose selection only, and uncheck material since we don't need them in Mixamo, and press export. Now we're ready to go to Mixamo, go to animation tab and choose upload the character, and here I'm gonna select the file, the OBJ file that we just exported. Wait a little bit, make sure on the first screen character actually facing towards you. So if not, use this button to adjust. In my case, all good. And the next step, you're gonna need to drop markers like this. You have the example here, and you have the dots that you need to put on the wrist, elbow, knees, and groin. When that's done, make sure to select standard skeleton if you have 5-finger character, or can be less if you don't have fingers, and press next. Alright, and just 1 minute after, we do have our guy already rigged, and look at his fingers, they're moving pretty well. And understanding that we created this 3D model in one go is just amazing. Definitely consider to try Tripo, they give a lot of free credits. We're gonna press next to use the character and find some cool idle animation before we give it to Gorka. I think this is exactly the animation that we need. Now let's press download and make sure with skin is selected. When that's done, drag and drop this FBX back to Blender, but on the import screen in the scale, set it to 100 so you can see it right away, otherwise it will be too small. That also not a problem, you can go and set the scale manually. Okay, here we have our guy. Now let's hide the original one, press on the new one and go to material tab and assign the material from the original one. It might have any name that you give. So basically that uses the same exact material. And here we go. Our cat is ready. You can press spacebar on the keyboard and play the animation. Okay, that's exactly what we need. And the gun is ready as well. Now I'm gonna select each object individually, go to export FBX and export gun as a gun with selected objects only. And one important thing to make sure your textures are exported as well, you need to go to pass mode and choose copy and make sure embed texture is checked like this. Other settings might remain as default. Press export. Do the same for the cat, but make sure you select armature and the cat. Go export, FBX, same settings as before, different file. And of course guys, let me remind you that there is Top 3D AI where you can compare side by sides and figure out which one is best for you. There is a leaderboard, there is compare, low poly, and reviews from real users. And most users actually select Tripo and you can learn what they think about it. That's it. Now let's see how Gorka will actually make it work.
Stefan, this is taking shape already. Okay, so I just received your character, which looks insane inside of Unreal Engine. Let's go ahead and take a look with the beautiful shadows. Wow, insane, right? And not only that, but I also have here the insane gun, which also looks amazing. And guys, remember that these assets were generated completely with AI. It's just insane. They look literally out of Fortnite or any other AAA game. Like, the quality is just insane. So now let's go ahead and hook everything up so that, it actually plays with our own character and our own gun that we made with blueprints using AI, as you might remember. So I'm gonna go right here into the blueprints and open the projectile. And first of all, I'm gonna make sure that we have this just a bit smaller, So let's do like 0.05 or something, Okay, a bit better. And then on the third person character, I can finally go to the viewport and replace this ugly cube with our actual cat character. There we go. So now let me just place this into position. So minus 90 degrees over here, and then maybe like a 2 of size, and then we just put this right over here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Okay, there we go. We have the character ready. Nice. So if I go ahead and press play, you can see that I'm here with the character and I can obviously move around, but the thing is that we still don't have any animations. That's why it looks so bad, but don't worry, we'll fix this in a second. But now let's make sure that the character is holding the gun in a character socket, okay? So basically to do this, I'm gonna go and open up the cat skeleton, which is right over here. And now that I have this opened, I can simply find the right hand. So this is around here. Okay, so we can name this something as a gun socket. And now on top of that, we can right click and add a preview asset. And of course, this will be our weapon that Stefan made with AI. Okay, and the thing is that it can look a bit, big because it's a cartoon character. So it looks good, And there we go. We have everything set up. And of course, when we press play, we still don't see anything. And that is because we haven't actually attached the gun itself. What we have over here is just a preview that will help us place the socket, okay? But now what we need to do is on the character, just add basically under the mesh, a new static mesh, which will be our gun. And now we can set the parent socket to be the one that we created. And of course, make sure to disable the collision because otherwise, it might create some buggy behavior. And now we have it on our character's hand, as you can see, which is amazing. There we go. So to add the animations, which is literally the final step that we need to complete this sprite, I'm gonna go ahead and import the third-person template so that we have the character with some basic animations. So click add sprite. All right, so now as you can see, I have a bunch of animations that I can use, as for example, this idle and walking and so on. So I'm gonna be using a thing called retargeting in Unreal Engine, which basically transforms one animation from one character into another character so it's compatible. Okay, so this simply is right click on an animation and click on retarget. Literally just select a target skeleton like our cat, which in this case I'm going to be using this one, which is more in a T-pose, which is better for retargeting. And then we can, double click, and as you can see, the animations will be copying this perfectly fine. Now the character is a bit smaller, but don't worry, that will be, basically fixed. But actually, we don't want to export these animations one by one because we can do one thing which is way more powerful in Unreal Engine. And this thing is called real-time retargeting, meaning that we can maintain our current character in the animation blueprint and simply overlay our cat on top and make it copy the animations in real time. Now, don't worry if that didn't make any sense because we will see it right now step by step. So first of all, let's export this retargeter settings and let's literally just find our character in the models. In my case, it will be here, and I'm gonna use right click, new folder, and do retargeter. Perfect. And now I can just click on export and we have them over here. So this IK retargeter will basically do the thing that we saw. It copies, one animation into another. As simple as that. If I put it side by side, you will see it, I use a bit better. But yeah, it's literally working, okay? So we go back to the third person character. We have, our cat right now where we replaced it over here. But what we're going to do instead is go and put this as our mannequin as we had before. Let's put this correct sizing over here. And then for the NM class, we'll put AVP unarmed, which is, involved in the template that I just imported. So if I press play and I actually do it in the actual map that we created, there we go. So you can see now I have animations and it's working perfectly fine, as you can see, which is really, really cool. But obviously we need to, show the cut. So instead, let's just click on the mesh and add a new skeleton mesh named cat. And this will be a child, okay? It will be under our existing mannequin. And then we can select our cat one. But actually I want to select this one, which has the T-pose, which, like I said, is better for retargeting. And now we basically need to create a new NM blueprint, as simple as that. So back in our content browser, let's right click, go to animation, which is right over here, and animation blueprint. And now we can name this something as we like. Select the T-pose, and of course this will be our cat name. And now inside of the animation blueprint, very simple. Simply go and drag this node called retarget pose from mesh. And now when you compile, you simply select the specific one that we want. In this case, it is this one, T-pose retargeter, the one that I just created. And now if I go back into here and I select this to be the cat anim, and I put this to be bigger so it, gets the whole size of our character, which I think it's like 1.9. Yeah, we can now see that it's actually copying the animations. If I press play, there we go. It's actually copying the animations exactly like it should be. So now things left over is just to go into the mannequin and set the visibility to be disabled so that we don't see it. We don't see the cat. And just make sure that this drop down is set to also refresh bones, okay? And now, as you can see, we have our character being animated in-game in just 2 seconds, which is amazing. Now let's go ahead and just add the gun. So for the cut, just add a static mesh, which is our gun, as we did before. And then make sure to select the gun over here. And then simply go and set the socket to be gun. And of course, disable the collision as we did so that it doesn't overlap or anything like that. And now we're good. But now obviously when we, left click, we don't see like the guy shooting with the animation. So let's go back here. Let's go to the event graph, and you can see in this space, right after we spawn the bullet, we will play a montage, which will be right here, okay? And now I can just put this as the mesh of the mannequin because that's the one that drives the animations. And then the montage will be, well, we have a pistol fire over here. So let's select this one right here. And that's it. And then we literally just shoot, as you can see now, which is perfect. And one thing that I quickly did, if you just go to the unarmed animation blueprint and open this up, you will see that I added this layered blend per bone node where I split the body in two. And I only did this for the animation montages so we can shoot while we walk, okay, and it looks smoothly, but this is completely optional and up to you. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it here reference if you want to copy, but I'm not gonna cover step by step because this is not fundamental, just an extra step for the video.
Well, I really like how this character look inside the game and the gun look as well. I mean, PBR materials look really nice. The movement is quite smooth, and realizing that I rigged it in like 1 minute, that's crazy. This is absolutely cool. Guys, we really hope you like this video, so hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want more videos like this, definitely let us know in the comments. See you in the next video.